I believe in yours as well, but if you can take him out of the fight, it makes the DPS job that much more difficult, and when Coolmat was taken out, the DPS struggled.
No doubt about it, and for FNRGFE, I mean, I think you touch on a key point there, is that they are going to need more contribution out of their DPS going forward, because even though Tempo just fell to Rogue, they were getting high contribution from most of their team in the last setup, where you saw great flanks coming in from Beast Halo and Dreamcasper. Dreamcasper alone having big hero moments, Too Easy having times where he took over the game. Tempo was operating on all cylinders there, and they made it very close for Rogue.
They absolutely did. Just a brief reminder real quickly that our sponsors are AMD, Overbuff, Corsair, and Faceit. They all offer wonderful products, hardware, platforms, and data about Overwatch. Corsair is giving away stuff too, exclamation Corsair in chat. We'll give you a link to win some gear for your computer. As we set up here, defensively, it does seem like they're running a variation here, but Buds on the 76, we used to see a lot more 76 on defense on Kings. I think it's a good switch.
I think it's good too. I mean, we used to see Buds a lot more on hit scan period, and for whatever reason, maybe the Genji wasn't his speed today, but this is going back to perhaps a more comfort zone for Buds. He was known in the beginning as a hit scan player, and gets to use a little bit of that here as the tempo dive comes in. Dreamcasper not wasting any time, but he is discorded into the back, has to be careful, and he's taken down a Helix rocket right to the face, and hit scan or no hit scan, Buds still rocking the projectile, even when it counts.
A great dive catch there by FNRGFE to retreat back into the corner. The consequence of that is that there is at least one tick onto the point. They will clean up on the chase, but yeah, Buds hits the nice Helix. I believe it was a mid-air Helix. I was in third person, but I think he cracked it right in the middle of the air. And they're going to hold first here for the moment, but as I mentioned, retreating as far back as they did give up 33% progress.
That's entirely worthwhile, though. I mean, as far as that goes, given the fact that most teams will oftentimes lose on the first attack, if you could trade one attack for one tick overall as a defense, it would probably be worthwhile in most of the times you play Kings Row. So FNRGFE really playing this back, and what you're seeing here is Coolmat and Muma are making a lot of space here for Buds, where Buds has room to work with, is continually drilling in the damage, almost has attack visor up, they're gonna barrier, and the visor's gonna be coming out.
They pop a lot of ultimates there. Buds' visor does find Beast Halo. They had to use Primal Rage as well, but Buds, as I mentioned, I think the switch is really good, and he has come to life on this 76, doing so much consistent damage for his team. And Clockwork will have the pulse bomb up for next fight. Did not surrender. Any more progress on Kings Row first.
Where was this Buds earlier today? It's like we're watching a different player. Composed, controlled, plenty of space being made for him by his team. This has been a tough nut to crack here for Tempo, but Hex, they're gonna have their best opportunity here in just a moment. 2 minutes left to take first, and they have a blade and barrier on the way. That's going to be one incredibly tanky Dreamcasper slashing his way through the back.
Yeah, it's going to be up to someone to stop it. Wow, this fight goes all the way in favor of FNRGFE, and they take down two before the push can even start. They have to trade out Buds, but he's a mobile hero able to put on those grandpa dancing shoes and get back to the point quickly with sprint. So that fight ended before it started, and we're going to start yet again.
And Buds is back into the fight. He already has sprinted back in. There is not a moment of 6v5 advantage here. Dreamcasper getting zoned out a bit by Muma. Not in the fight as it begins, and he's gonna have to make up for lost time here as Too Easy is already down. Early play comes out from Dreamcasper. No, he looks to the sky. That's not what he wants, and he somehow takes out Matt and gets the cover, able to stay alive in what was looking like a near-death situation.
A great individual play. He was looking for the self-destruct, couldn't necessarily find it, but found Matt, and off the back of those kills, they will be able to take first point, but a very solid first point defense, especially given how this map has gone lately.
That was transcendent there from Dreamcasper. I feel like most of the Genjis in the game would have just accepted sweet death coming at the hands of that exploding Diva mech, but Dreamcasper not only takes down Matt, but finds the proper escape route as well. Really good stuff coming out from him to crack through and get Tempo rolling on the payload.
So a little poke coming up from the offensive team as Casper up front. He gets discorded, so he's going to have to fall back and get harmonied as well. A lot of balloons over Dreamcasper. Now the defense finds themselves in a decent position. Self-destruct comes in, we'll zone them out at least momentarily.
Self-destruct out, Dreamcasper takes down Clockwork, one swift strike, and down he goes. Holding on to the blade, which he's built up again, and Tempo, they're going down. They are doubling down into the backline. Visor versus sword, and the Transcendence keeps Casper alive. That's going to be exactly what Tempo needed to keep the momentum moving forward.
A late Transcend out of the side of FNRGFE as they try to fight this one back into it. They end up getting nothing, but they do save Muma's life. Casper comes in and finds Banny as soon as the Transcend expires.
That was beautiful timing. Banny had just finished his incantations and down he went. Dream right over the top, but his Reign of Terror might be coming to an end. He's at 3 HP. Is he actually going to get to the health pack here? He's looking for a savior. No, Clockwork is there. Clockwork didn't see him. He's finally, Clockwork takes him down, but that was a run. But also, this has been decent delay from FNRGFE.
Feel like it's the first kill Clockwork's gotten in a while. They say a broken clock is right twice a day, but it has been rough for him on King's Row the last few times we've seen him, and Buds has been carrying a little on the DPS, but Clockwork, as well as he can play, has been pretty quiet so far.
It's been a tougher day from Clockwork if you ignore the very first map that FNRGFE played, that much is for sure. It's been not his best day. I will say that Buds has definitely recovered here so far, but Dream Casper diving in again, already almost has another Dragon Blade. The sound barrier is in, and this dive is intense. FNRGFE getting pushed back, but Matt and Muma controlling space into the backline, able to salvage it somewhat here for FNRGFE, and they're going to roll right back onto the point.
Well, late Transcend, though, is going to keep everyone alive as the offense continues to push Matt now out of the fight, and that does not bode well for the remainder of the team as he's such a core component of how they want to play and play around him. A late kill onto Boink, and Tempo Storm continues to roll onto King's Row. Oh, wow.
Clockwork going down is not going to help matters there. Chased down by Beast Halo when he thought he could get away, but the one thing for FNRGFE is they have bought a lot of time here so far. This is not a bad defense. 2 minutes to defend last on King's Row is very doable, but they're going to have to survive the storm that is Dream Casper. He is in a flanking position right now to the back. They have no idea he's there, and Banny is in his sights. Going in from the back, trying to spook him into using a Transcendence, and does not get Banny to press that button. He is countered, and now they're going to go in.
The Transcend comes out, but I do have to question it yet again. They've just gotten 2 kills. Is the Transcend gonna really be worth it for you, especially when you have a bit of a respawn advantage here on the defense? A one that he might want to have back, and maybe not expecting the late kill to come in from Clockwork, but 2 kills to start off that fight and then the Transcend? Questionable.
Well, the thing is, I was in the middle of lauding him that he didn't use the Transcendence immediately in reaction to Dream Casper. He saved it, and then after they got the kill, he used it, so I don't know. I mean, it secured the fight, but here comes Dream Casper. Here's the blade. There's no Transcendence for it this time. Going for the deflect kill on the Boink, not going to get it, and Buds protects his support. The tack visor hitting its mark, and FNRGFE going to be able to push this one right back.
Yeah, Buds completely shutting it down with his visor there too. Just has to wait for the deflect to go away, so he's able to finish off that kill, and they trade out those ultimates, and given what Dreamcaster usually does with his blade, that's a trade you take.
1 minute left here for FNRGFE, and this is extremely good for them, Hex. If they can stop this here, completing King's Row is not that difficult for many a team. It does happen that you get holds in second. We've seen this in this tournament alone, but generally speaking, it is a more offense-favored map, so this would be a good showing for them. They have the Transcendence up and the self-destruct. Let's see where Map lobs this mech here in just a moment.
Might just use it. There it is. Comes around the corner. Will segment off part of this team. Forces out the rewind from Too Easy, so he's out of the fight momentarily. Dueling barriers now. A later barrier, though, from Tempo Storm bodes well. Clockwork down again to Casper.
Transcendence coming out here. It's after Clockwork has fallen, but Buds is picking up the slack. About to have Attack Visor in the back, rolling with the Transcendence. And now the question is, when does he pull out that visor? He doesn't want to do it immediately here, while it could get interfered with, but he doesn't have to worry about the D.Va on the other side, so Buds is more free than you normally would be here on a 76. And no, I don't know why I said that. Tig is absolutely there. I am losing my mind. Buds moving in. Attack Visor is out. Tig still very much in his mech. Here comes the self-destruct over the top. That's going to be zoning out Buds for a moment, and off of that zone out, Dream Casper connects, goes right in. It is a full team wipe here for Tempo. We are in overtime, and they might be completing it here just yet.
Well, no one's even respawned because we are in overtime. You're absolutely right. That self-destruct came out over the top. It forced 2 people into Pack Room, and waiting in Pack Room was a boosted Dream Casper with his visor out, making sure that they're not long for that world. Tempo Storm rolls through and completes King's Row in overtime.
So, That's a sort of bittersweet moment for FNRGFE. It would have been really nice if they were able to hold there, but they do have a very solid victory condition nonetheless, where all they have to do is finish with a little bit over a minute remaining, and that will be enough for them to get a free attack on the point A without worrying about the potential of losing the map outright.
Right.
They still have to complete the map, though.
It gets them the draw, at least. And then they would only have to get a third on their next attack. So you're right, but we'll see what the defense has to say about it. Very hard to judge a matchup early on by just seeing half of the map. Although Casper continues to impress on all sorts of heroes. But again, most of the teams we're seeing lately, it used to be in North America, they had 1 or 2 good players and 4 guys. That hasn't been the case. Everyone has consolidated a lot of the talent, a lot of new blood has come into the scene, and has mixed with some of the veteran talent that was already out there. And these teams now are, it's very difficult to find the weak spot anymore.
And that has been the process of culling the fat, so to speak, where you had teams that had players on it that were not really performing at a high level, and over time there's been this process of team churn in Overwatch where weaker players get filtered out in favor of stronger players, and as a result is that, yes, you might have teams where one player is having a bad day, but in general, I would agree with you that team strength has gone up across the board.
That's what makes it so exciting as Overwatch continues to grow defensively. Looks like just a standard dive, no 76 on the field there. Offensively, Bud's still on the 76. Something you generally see more of on defense, but the way he played that 76, I think you just ride the hot hand here and they will come out with Buds on the 76. He's going to try to get a high ground, rotating around.
Wow, he really hates Mondada. Just Helix rockets Mondada right in the face. That statue is a statue of peace, Buds. What are you doing?
He's just trying to relive the cinematic.
The cinematic included a sniper rifle, but Buds has plenty of room here. Able to take down Beast Halo where, sure, Beast Halo got on the Banny, but now Tempo down a Winston, and the opportunities for FNRGFE are rapidly increasing here. They have a man advantage. Buds is well protected into the back line, and Tempo just getting bullied back.
It was the kill on it too easy that was the signal to go for them as Clockwork was able to 1v1 in the TVT right there. They will get back here on time to contest, but a lot of progress already made. Let's see if Tempo Storm can hold here on their defense.
Tempo right now, one last chance to defend this here, but again, Bud's only getting the faintest of pressure on him. You can't give a 76 this much room to maneuver. He's just going to crown Beast Halo with the crown of Helix Rocket, and this has been rough. Tempo Storm not able to reestablish, and at some point, they need to make their dive a little bit more deadly to the soldier in the back.
Just some pressure, something has to happen onto him, and I guess a lot of it is up to Tig. You see that Diva battle, but what they've been doing is kind of supporting a little bit of their soldier too. You don't want to just dive on the soldier because you're a diva and just give away your life. Teams have gotten so much better at just accepting that donation gift to them in the form of ult and a free kill. So if you want to dive, it can't just be the diva, it has to be everyone, and you're right, the focus needs to be Buds right now.
Well, Matt was out in Battle Diva for a while, able to get enough to get his ult back up, and whoa, Tempo Storm immediately diving in. No chill in this defense, but maybe they should have. The Sound Bear comes out from FNRGFE, they punish Halo immediately, and Casper just looking for the way out, absolutely not invested in this fight, and I guess going in to die now? He could have gotten out. I don't know if that was worth it.
Maybe. A nice economy there, again, from the side of FNRGFE. They use the barrier, and then they use the visor in coordination with each other to get all those kills, to get the full team kill that they needed, but still have 4 ultimates remaining as they continue to push. They're setting a very quick time, 4 minutes remain for them to just capture second.
Dream Casper holding on to the blade. It's been a quieter game for him. Cozy's initiating with the Transcendence, so you gotta think Dream Casper's gonna follow this up. But the Transcendence is a little bit late to the party. It's just getting Tempo back onto the payload. It's rough in terms of engagements, and Clockwork is coming alive, assassinating Cozy in the back, and FNRGFE is going through Kings Row with immense speed.
Both supports down as the self-destruct also came in over the top, but they're doing a decent job of at least spreading out FNRGFE as they have been segmented down in the backline. Clockwork has had 2 easies number this stage for sure. That is the 2nd or 3rd time he has killed him. Buds comes alive as well. This should be FNRGFE taking second with ease.
They have so much time on their side right now, a little under 5 minutes. This has been a relentless showing so far from FNRGFE, and I gotta say, if you compare it just to a little bit ago, they're playing this better than Rogue did.
Oh, absolutely. They're burning through this, and Rogue has had some struggles going on. And right now, the economy's just been so good, and now every time they use ults, they still have 2. They've never gone into a fight Baron on their war chest here. They always have something to work with.
Buds right now, again, still working with plenty of room into the backline. Casper, one of the answers that they could throw at him, but he's been so well protected that I don't even think Casper has felt great about going back in. And you compare the difference between the two teams here. I think this is where, when you have a D.Va player that really likes playing D.Va like Matt, you open up opportunities as Matt, with the visor, picks up 2, everything in his sight, and FNRGFE keeping it rolling forward. This has been intense.
I've said for a long time that D.Va is a hero of passion, that you can stick someone on it and maybe get some play, but if you have someone who likes playing D.Va, you're in trouble. And it goes back to maybe Hyped, Enigma, and now Cool Matt too. They are D.Va pros, and they just are at a different level than most other players who just happen to play D.Va.
Dream Casper to the back line, going to get met by the prayers of Banny, not the ideal Dragon Blade. Forces out the ultimate, but that's going to be about it, as FNRGFE almost have punched this one back in. They have .12 to go. Dream Casper fighting against the world right now, but he's gonna get 2 kills towards the very end. He very well can help pull this back as Tempo Storm is pushed right to the limit.
And it took him a while to die there too as well, and that's going to be a little bit of an issue. They have to completely reset. 0.12 right now, but the cart will start rolling backwards. And as I mentioned before, how they were so good at conserving those ultimates and always having something to fight with, well, now their armory is closed. They've got nothing to work with here. The only person even nearing it is going to be Buds, and as you mentioned, their best condition here is to win with over a minute remaining so that they force at least a draw.
What I really want to call attention to, it's what you were just mentioning there, is that there's really a minute-and-a-half timer here for FNRGFE. If they want this to be as clean as possible, they need to do this, if not on this attack, then the next. They don't want it to go into under a minute, because then Tempo gets a chance to win the map again. FNRGFE is in a great position of power, but they dive in. Cozy is there to punish on Tamuma. It was good focus fire aided by a Discord Orb, and FNRGFE, they don't get as much from that ult-wise as I think they would have liked.
It's kind of okay though, because they made them use barrier at the very least while they were able to charge some of their own ults. Clockwork would have loved to hit that. Oh man, that's brutal. For have Banny die like that late to Casper, it's going to slow down their next push, and for the condition we're talking about, this might be their last push to punch it in with over a minute remaining. They're getting there on ults though. They're getting close to double support ults.
I just wonder if FNRGFE realizes the urgency themselves on how deep they want to push here, because yeah, they do want to complete the map and make sure they have a chance, but they have the chance for the win here if they can get this in the next 33 seconds. This would be big if they were able to do that, and right now, they're taking it rather slowly, Hex, and I don't know if they're going to get through here in the time required to get the free attack.
Well,
at this point, they drop the sound barrier and the visor.
But they layer Transcend right on top of that. A little miscommunication, have to double up on support ults right there. Matt drops self-destruct. He might be able to get a mech back. No one's better at it than Matt to be able to get back into the suit. He does end up staying alive there. Still going here, but they're not going to push this in with over a minute.
No, Tempo Storm has gone through hurdle number 1. Now we're in for bonus points. Can they get the full hold on last and win the map outright with no extra rounds being in play? FNRGFE down to their final minute, and Dream Casper cleaning up the scraps. And here's the really tough part for FNRGFE. What do they have for the next fight here, Hex?
Nothing. They went all in trying to get it there, but the fight took way too long, and they're going to have to push into a team with double supports. Again, it's a mistake that they had to use Sound Barrier, and the Transcend came out immediately after. A little miscommunication on who was going to be first if they felt under pressure, and now they're going to have to push in a barrier. Cozy will very likely have Transcendence during this fight too. Last good attempt for FNRGFE. 6-9 ZP.
How the tables have turned here for FNRGFE 69C9, whatever you want to call them right now. They must get through. The barrier coming in here from Tempo Storm, though. Dream Casper heading to the back. Discord orbed and dispatch. The focus fire working out, but now FNRGFE must touch the payload. It is overtime versus overtime here, but they are coming in with the fury. Buds, a cleanup tack visor to the back. The defensive self-destruct does not connect, and Tempo Storm on the verge of being brought to extra rounds.
Tempo didn't have to attack there. They could have played it reactionary. They went barrier first to try to dive in, got punished for it, and then ended up feeding a little bit of ults that they needed. The counter barrier came in from Boink. I think you sit back when you have two support ults like that. Wait for them to make the first move. The onus is not on you, just chill. No chill in them though. Now each team will have a minute to attack.
And now effectively we reset, and don't forget that not only is it if you can take point A here, but if you get the payload moving, you get into one of the most unpredictable parts of Overwatch, which is the overtime payload push. Just how far can you bring it as an offense? So coming in here, Tempo will get first crack, so they will know exactly how much they have to defend when the tables are turned.
I think it was Luxury Watch Red we saw in like 9 months ago in a Gosu Gaming Weekly take this to the end with a minute push.
It's Hollywood.
So, yeah, well, I mean, I think they've done it on both, actually, because I
They
remember...
might have done it on both, but I remember Hollywood in particular, where they just kept it going with 1 minute, and it was, at the time, the first time we saw it, it was nothing but nutty. It was right when Time Rank was brought out. Yeah,
well, this map has been completed in under a minute before, I'm certain of that, so we could be in for something here, but, you know, there's also the possibility of... Well, maybe a draw. We'll see how it all shakes out. A minute for each team as we do reset here on King's Row. Offensively, too easy for the moment on the 76. Maybe he liked what he saw there from Buds. Buds also on the 76 on defense here.
Well, Too Easy is a player from the school of anything you can do, I can do better. He was basically one of the prime movers of that in early Overwatch, so not a big surprise that Too Easy would be coming out here at the 76, thinking that he can take Buds on in the situation. And Tempo Storm right now, they're going forward with a good front line, getting the better of the poke war here so far, pushing Matt back. I like this engage here, but at some point, they need to push it harder to convert on these kills.
They do. It's time to get aggressive if they want another fight or another chance at it, but the way this is going, it's taking very long and still bloodless. They lost Beast early. Now is the question, do they have time to back out? That seems to be their plan. They want one more push. Will be able to get on the point with this about 15 seconds remaining. Not an ideal situation, and they just kind of danced around. Not aggressive enough, I think.
No, certainly not, and for Tempo, they get one more final attempt. Bear in mind, they don't even have a tick on the point now, so it's very important that they at least get something on this push. Too Easy, so close yet so far to attack Visor. His team diving in without him. Tig going to get demeched, and this is going from bad to worse right now for Tempo. They need something to break in their favor, but all that breaks is the beat coming in from the side of FNRGFE. And look at Matt protecting from the Nano Visor. They take down Too Easy, and this is looking like a hold for FNRGFE.
It should be a full hold. No progress there on the 0.0 percentages. Now it is the situation that FNRGFE wants to be in. Either draw or win. There will be no loss for them on this map.
Worst case scenario for them now is a tie, but this is also very bad for Tempo, where they have to hold off not just point A, but a single tick on point A. Easier said than done.
I wonder if teams have like a specific strategy for trying to deal with something like this, and you could see something different. I mean, a high-risk strategy would be the Widow early on, but with how teams are running Divas and Winstons, that's probably not going to be in it. I don't think we'll see anything real different, but they should be more aggressive, because even if you get, well, I don't know, I kind of don't mind not being super aggressive, because when they lost one hero on their push, Tempo Storm, they didn't feed ults into that. So being super aggressive and dying means that like your next push is going to be even that much harder, so it's a tough situation overall, and teams have different strategies how to deal with this. Getting an entry kill would be great, so I don't know. Is it time to see a Roadhog? This used to be a great Roadhog map.
Muma's lucky that doesn't go to the stream. But Muma did the entire thing. It was like, I've switched to Doomfist. It's like, no. No, you haven't.
Yeah, I almost bought it until he included was Symmetra. I was like, yeah, that's...
Symmetra. It's just like, wait a second. I believe that you hacked the server and become Doomfist. I don't believe you're Symmetra. But FNRGFE out on what could be the game-winning attack here. Tempo Storm going to have to defend anything, including a small tick. And now, the engage is coming out, and it's a counter dive here from Tempo, deep diving in FNRGFE, and yet backing out just as quickly.
They want to maybe get positioned to go up top here. That's where you want to maybe rotate Buds. They think better of it. They're just going to go through Hotel. An entry kill from Banny. Beast Halo out of the mix. That is a huge first pick.
Tempo now cannot control space the way they want to now. Being down Beast Halo is a really big deal. They might have demeched Matt, but that sometimes it takes more than that to get Matt out of the fight. But this time, Too Easy completes the kill. They even up the tank game, and we're down to 15 seconds here. FNRGFE needs to do something soon, or this will be a draw.
They had a lot of progress too, and they still pull back on it, and rather they will let it go away. Want to be at full force, want Matt back in this fight. One more push, or we're going to draw.
Banny under heavy pressure now. Beast Halo going deep, but no, he's not able to complete the kill. Banny alive with 8 HP, and here comes FNRGFE. Because Banny was able to stay alive, they have the Discord orbs, they have the support, and they are swarming over the point. They just need a little bit more to take this map away from Tempo Storm.
Sounder late finishes it out. FNRGFE will take the second part of Kings Row, thus the whole map of Kings Row. Remember, guys, we're in the lower bracket. This is a best of 3. FNRGFE one map away from knocking out a strong-looking Tempo Storm team, but I can't predict any of these matches. I said it yesterday, and this tournament has already just become so unpredictable.
I don't even know anymore. I did favor Tempo Storm coming in here, but what did we see here in particular? Not only was FNRGFE playing even better in their tank coordination, but we saw the resurgence of Buds. Buds was certainly playing with and around his team, but it was a much better showing for him on the 76. He was able to have more space available and, frankly, worked out.
Well, you saw
look at that hero damage.
It's a little ridiculous. 20,000 hero damage. What you saw in there was the play of the match we were talking about, where the self-destruct came in over the top and 2 people forced into pack room, cleaned up by Dream Casper there. It will be Tempo Storm's next map pick. They have to pick a map to save their tournament life here. Otherwise, they are going home early in the Overwatch Beat Invitational. And, wow, the gluttons for punishment. Tempo Storm chooses to go to Volskaya.
Surely FNRGFE cannot play Sabra. Surely Banny is not Unco.
Well, I mean, Banny's good.
Banny probably isn't Unco in fairness, but I don't know how they're not just shuddering at the fact of going back here when they were not able to use their abilities for most of the game on their attack. So, I mean, in fairness, they did bring it to within 25 seconds of Rogue. That is the counterpoint, right?
And
it just felt very one-sided.
They also picked it against Rogue, so they also definitely have practice and strategy that they maybe weren't able to use against Rogue. Well, they weren't able to use anything against Rogue. EMP up every single fight. So Tempo Storm will take it back to Volskaya for their tournament life. I don't know. I don't... See, here's the thing. I don't even want to watch Volskaya again. It was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable to watch. And I like cringe comedy. I like Seinfeld. I like Curb Your Enthusiasm, but... that was tough.
It was so many EMPs. One EMP, 6 people, over and over and over. I mean, I could go on. How many EMPs did Unco have there?
50.
A lot. 28 people hit, whatever it was. Like, it was a deadly game from Unco. So maybe Tempo Storm. The flip side here is that they did learn from watching Rogue, and maybe this will be a little bit better for them.
You would hope, but again, even as brutal as that was, they were still within 25 seconds. So, I mean, how it appeared and how it ended were a little bit different, at the very least. And you'd have to imagine, though, that there's going to be somber strategies on both sides yet again. But offensively, what did work for them was having Dream Casper early in the fight. I wonder if they had a strategy to use him on last that we never got, because he switched even holding Deadeye. He eventually had to switch to Reaper because they were just EMPing everything, and Reaper's better after EMP than McCree is sometimes.
One thing that's worth noting that we haven't seen as much of recently, but because we haven't seen McCree, bear in mind that Deadeye is a lot better now. It locks in way quicker. You can combo with Nano Boost and have that be really effective. And Dream Casper in general, I mean, even without the Deadeye in progress, he was very effective on McCree. So this is something where we'll see if FNRGFE did their homework in expecting this, although I don't really know what more they would do against this aside from making sure that Matt was just 24/7 in Dream Casper's face, because his McCree on first was very scary last time around.
It really was, which is why I thought we might see an Electric Cowboy or a Platform, aka Drive-By McCree going up there, because the lock-in is that much better now, and you can catch them off guard. Those old strats. I remember, I think it might have been Season 1 of Apex where we saw a Drive-By Bastion, a Platform Bastion on this map, actually, too. So people forget that those things can be extremely viable. Casper, it does seem like he wants to roll out on this McCree. They're running a triple DPS. Halo going to be the only tank for him. Banny early on has to be careful because one of the reasons you run a McCree is to flashbang that Sombra and not let her escape.
Right, and how Dream Casper not only plays with his team, but around the tank pressure of FNRGFE here will be key. And Tempo getting a relatively unchallenged access here to the upper right part of Volskaya. And FNRGFE looking more to play a rope-a-dope defense, moving in and around, giving Banny time to get an EMP, and that would be big if you could get the early EMP here and get that first solid defense, because that's how you start chaining one good defense into another. Well,
absolutely.
So much for that.
Yeah, Banny going down hurts in so many different ways. One, is going to hurt the defense here, but also was not able to get a, absurd amount of EMP charge there, only at 63%. Well, never mind. People are using packs. Banny at 80. We'll probably have it for at least the next fight, but still, it's
you don't have to even be in the fight.
Charge.
Matt, though, just sacrificed his body and his life to buy a little bit of time here. Banny might get back into this fight. They still have 4 in and around, but goodbye, Clockwork. A beautiful roll-in from Dream Casper catches him off guard, and that probably put the nail in the coffin to this defense. I just hope that Banny thinks about saving his EMP here, and he does. He is already well on his way back to this.
I've only met Matt a couple times, but you know what I think of every time I think of cool Matt is, remember we were sitting in the upper lobby in that hotel in London, and he just locked eyes with us as he rode the elevator down, just did not break his gaze. That is the forever will be the Matt
I felt
moment.
weak in the knees, I'm gonna be honest.
It made me feel a little weird in a weird way. That's all I ever think
Matt
of.
has that effect on people.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's
but,
dreamy.
I'm just gonna tell Clockwork what you're saying about Matt here, because I think we had our boundaries set. In any case, FNRGFE, they have the EMP up, but Banny in the back line, staying out of this fight here so far, away from the Nano Blade. Now, though, I think it's time to turn out the lights. Here comes the EMP, but Dream Casper shuts him down right away, so pressure still coming in from Tempo Storm. This Cowboy needs to be dealt with.
They do jump in on him, but the nice sound barrier will keep him alive, at least for the moment. We did see a Deadeye kill and a quick kill from Casper. They are cleaning up a little bit, and now if they can just sustain here and wait for some reinforcements, they're going to have a good chance at this one, thanks to having the EMP do very little.
Well, Banny not necessarily going in with his best Unco impression, and Dream Casper has had so much room here in the back. There is no pressure on him whatsoever. Matt has his hands full with other things, and really, this is a problem. You need to deal with this McCree in the back. You must deal with this, or the burst damage coming out from him is too much. Muma is going to go down, and the pressure from Tempo just unrelenting, though FNRGFE is starting to get, well, they were getting more control of the fight, but here comes the Deadeye. It's high noon. It gets nothing, but who needs it when you can headshot a May anyways?
There's a May on the point, and wow, his reign of terror continues. Casper takes down 2. They've gotten 2 ticks, already a much more successful push. Electric Cowboy now in the house, but Cool Matt comes down, puts him in the Matrix.
Please kill him! Kill this man with the cowboy hat! He's just having the run of things here. Oh, Clockwork again with the combo. And finally, mercifully, Muma treats the Electric Cowboy to some electricity of his own, and FNRGFE might be pulling this one back.
Oh, he had so much room for activities. He just did anything he wanted, opened that up. Electric Cowboy came in. Do you switch off of that now that they know it's coming? But it was so successful. They switched off the Sombra, too, so the Sombra's not even going to be in the mix.
Well, this is very good for Tempo. In fact, I think Tempo's going to be caught off guard by not getting EMP'd every 2 seconds as they try and move in. I'm not sure they're going to know how to play around this, because they'll just be expecting EMP without a Sombra beam.
Well, even if they went back to the Sombra now, they should know that they have at least one push window, because they saw Banny come out on the Zenyatta when they killed him earlier, so they know that they can come in here without fearing the EMP at the very least.
Well, Dream Casper under assault here, but the ice wall actually giving him a little bit of cover, as it turns out, laying in the damage, but Matt has had enough, comes in and joins Muma on the dive. That will be the end of the Cowboy for this push. Still, though, 3.5 minutes left for Tempo, 2 ticks. They are not in a bad position.
2 ticks is really nice for them. Means the next push doesn't have to get there, and even if they fail to complete this, 2 ticks on Volskaya could be a victory condition. Got Deadeye up again.
Very well
though.
could be. I mean, if you think about the matchup that they had versus Rogue, where Rogue only needed 1 tick towards the very end, so yes, this is already not bad here for Tempo, but they would like to finish it off with time remaining in the bank, and they're going to have a good opportunity coming up here. If they can play around the Blizzard, Dream Casper might have a golden opportunity to remind people just what time of day it is.
Well, they're actually checking for a platform, McCree, and they didn't find it. There are 2 quick kills. Deadeye comes out, but then gets canceled, does not find what he's looking for. Too easy down, but all the other kills in favor of Tempo so far.
And again, this is where a McCree can shine. Clean up situations. Dreamcasper working at plenty of room. Muma worried about other things. And again, we get to see just what this Cowboy is capable of. Tempo, they're going to finish it out with 2 minutes and 37 seconds to spare. That is a dominant time for Volskaya.
Very good there, and if you didn't know who Dreamcasper was before, you better recognize, because he has played everything at a very high level. I remember months ago people were talking about, like, you know, there's a couple of these guys on ladder, and I heard some names, and it was like Sinatra, Dreamcasper, and all of these guys have become very high-level players. Part of the rotation that we were talking about, of new blood coming in, and then getting rid of some of the players who maybe were veterans but underperforming. And man, Casper has had himself a great day for this Tempo Storm team, giving them a chance to even up the series.
I've always seen Dream as one of the very best players in NA. It's just because Tempo has been rebuilding for a while, and of course Spicy Boys had their time in the sun for a tournament or two, and then of course they split off, went their different ways. Dream has sort of gone under the radar for a lot of people who watch competitive Overwatch, but make no mistake, he is easily one of the best players in the scene. He can play projectile, he can play hit scan. He is a force to be reckoned with, and he has been playing very well for Tempo Storm today.
Alright, win condition now for Tempo Storm to tie this up is just play some defense, don't let them capture last. Of course, for FNRGFE to be able to continue on Volskaya, they have to close out the map. And right now, again, remember, this was Tempo Storm's map choice, so they clearly have a strategy. The problem is, I mean, Rogue just played their strategy better than they did. That was it, period.
Yeah, well, Rogue played it much better. Banny, look, Banny is decent, but he is no Unco when it comes to Sombra. I think that is a fair judgment to make. He was not just walking 2 steps and EMPing every other moment.
You could almost go down
that is reserved for
Rogue.
Unco right now.
Yeah, I mean, Unco might be the best player on that Rogue team, which is saying a lot about Unco, and he's been a great player for a long time, so no shame there. Alright, defensively, they will open up with the Sombra strategy, and a couple of tanks to go with it, of course. Casper's on the Zenyatta. And Buds, again, I think he's found his stride in 76, and when you find the hero that you're clicking on that day, there's no reason to switch off it. 76 is good in a lot of situations.
I also like 76 here on Volskaya, where you have plenty of nice, easy sight lines to work on here. Tempo is already feeling pressured in the going into the indoors just to not let Buds get the position he wants here, but FNRGFE is controlling the terms of this engagement, and there it is. Cozy's going to fall. Dreamcasper does get rid of the threat and is doing even more. The question is, can he bring this back from the brink? He very well might. It's a triple kill for Dreamcasper. No blades required, just resets and shurikens. Wow.
Is it legal to play defense on First of Volskaya? I haven't seen much of this.
We're conferring with the admins. We might have to DQ them. I'm sorry.
The good thing is they could feasibly drop EMP next fight, and I would be fine with it, because they earned the full team up here to be able to drop EMP. Cozy's gonna just kind of peek around looking for someone. He got hunted down pretty hard by Muma, but his team reacted very well to it. They're all in this hallway, but I don't know if you want to drop EMP up here. You don't really want to fight here if you don't have to.
I think they might go for the EMP or just want Cozy looking for it. Drops EMP, and I don't know if it hit exactly what he was looking for. I think FNRGFE was able to avoid the brunt of it, and we're seeing that right now in the results. They're able to come right back out of that room, the people who weren't hit by the EMP, out with full force. Tig going to get bombed right out of his mech, and FNRGFE winning this war of attrition and starting to push Tempo Storm back.
Cozy has EMP again. There's another EMP. Are you kidding me? I don't even care that he used it. I care that he had it. I don't care that he used it. Are you kidding me?
He just used it. Also, Clockwork is hacked. He couldn't get away. Knocked off to the edge. Doesn't really matter too much. Although, because of the pressure being applied, Buds felt compelled to use Attack Visor. That is a win for the defense here.
Get out of my way or I'll run you over.
Are you okay? Are you okay, Hex? Do you need an adult? You're not okay. Okay.
Is that 10 seconds? What was that? That was insanity. All right, but now
it feels like hacking to me, Hex.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit unfair.
I mean, it's Sombra. That's her mechanic.
The problem is Cozy using it there, and I mean, now that I recover my wits barely, not gonna have it for the next fight. Is it 35%? And they will have a small window to push in, not a lot to use, but I mean, good defense. It's the best defense we've seen on Volskaya first all day.
It was good time being burned off the clock, and they still have 2.5 minutes reserve in their
Cozy's got
time
EMP.
bank.
Yeah,
so
no problem. Cozy's got EMP again.
Well, learned from being on the receiving end from Unco, now holding on to the EMP. Just where's he gonna go with this? Here comes the offense diving in, and Muma's way ahead of the rest of his team here. Banny, oh no, the self-destruct perfectly placed, grabs him towards the end. EMP's gonna come down, and yet FNRGFE still with decent outs here to win this fight.
Well, Dreamcaster's gonna have to bring him back for his team. He is able to dash through Clockwork, and Kumat is desuited. The blade comes in from Casper, finishes off the remainder. No, does not. Buds actually finds him. I thought he was gonna finish that out. Didn't, but they've lost enough. They have to pull back.
They lost enough, yeah. Dream Casper did his job. It's enough to push him out in a way. So FNRGFE going to have to reset a bit here. There is a window where they don't have to worry about the EMP. Might be one of the better windows they'll get with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. And here comes Buds. It's a nanovisor underway. This is brute force if there was one, and they just murder Cozy. Sound barrier doesn't matter. Buds chews right through it, and FNRGFE might have found the right engage.
Looking good for them so far, but it only takes 1 or 2 kills on the defense to be able to bring this back, given how spawns work on the point. They already have a tick, so a pretty successful push at the very least. Sometimes you have to piecemeal together your assault tactics. Now they're going to bury her in a great position, 2 ticks on the board.
And Muma has a Primal Rage, so he was getting low, bought a lot of time with the peel, still was able to heal himself up, and EMP or no EMP, FNRGFE is dealing with this really well. They're at 2 ticks right now, still up with all 6 players. This is a gem of a Volskaya offensive push, and it is not stopping, it is not relenting, and Dreamcasper is still well a ways from a blade.
Absolutely, they do get a couple of kills though, so that should be enough to bring it back. That is 3 kills, 4 kills there. And I think the defense has finally stabilized. Oink, oink, there goes the boink.
And the key to that there is that it was the backline fight. It was Dream versus Buds. And Dream was able to get a deflect, a good dash in, finish off Buds, and it just snowballed right over the rest of FNRGFE. So it was a good push. It was going well for a long time. They missed out on the last tick, and they have about 3 minutes left to get the final tick.
But they're definitely going to have a lower time, regardless, because 2:37 in the time bank already for Tempo Storm here on their defense here. They do have another EMP. They've done a good job playing around it, not necessarily going in clumped up. The EMP comes in through the back line, and Casper, trying to clean it up, takes down Banny. That is 2 kills, 3 kills. Defense will stabilize.
Nothing you can do there. Immediate time to back out as Cool Matt, he's going for the icy bath. That's what he wants right now. Remove any remaining thoughts of that last team fight. As FNRGFE, this is going to be difficult in terms of setup for them. I think they might just go up the gut with the nanovisor again. It worked out well the first time. Why not go for it a second?
Yeah, go up the gut nanovisor, just keep him in Matt's matrix, and then when Matt gets low, you can bomb in over the top with self-destruct, zone out, and then get the positioning that you want on the point. Seems like a decent plan to me. Cozy's still a bit away from the EMP, so that is the timing window they're looking for.
Well, they're going to be looking for it here. You got to think that visor is or the boost will be going on the Buds here. He's waiting for the right time to visor. I think tracking Tig right now, wanting to go in when Tig's matrix is a little bit less charged. You don't want Tig to nullify it. Obviously, it'd be ideal if you could take him out of the mech right now, but they can't get greedy. They have 1:40 left, and they're playing the poke game. They really do want to take him out of the mech, but I think now the nanovisor might be underway as Too Easy is down.
Too Easy is taken out. Cozy is going to have EMP during this fight next. Soundbearer is on both sides of things. Cozy's still 2% away, so he's not going to be able to strip these shields off. EMP will come down eventually, but Matt with a double kill self-destruct.
You know, it's better than EMP sometimes. An uncontested, unlooked for self-destruct from Matt, able to even the tide, and yet the problem is for the offense is that the defense is swarming back in. Reinforcements are coming back out, and FNRGFE has suffered casualties here, so they're not working with a numbers advantage anymore. Matt's going to get demeched, and this push is in trouble for FNRGFE.
Well, Dreamcaster does bust out the blade, but has to use most of that time on deflect while Clockwork cleans up below. Below a minute now, so close they can't get off the point. These anti-heals have been crushing this team too.
They were able to bring that back from the brink, and just when you think they might have been sent back, It's Clockwork. Several key kills, dealing with the respawns, and getting FNRGFE back on track when it matters most. Still dealing with a time deficit against them, to be sure, but now there is hope.
There is, but a minute versus 3 minutes can be a big difference, because if that first attack is stifled, then you're only going to have first to hold. Whereas 2 minutes and 55 seconds, you have to reasonably expect you're at least going to be able to take first. So a huge difference in clocks here when it comes to assault maps.
It is, and I think a key part here will be the first point defenses, where we saw Tempo come out with a very good first point defense the first time around. If they could just put that in a bottle from a time machine and bring it back here, they would be in a great shape to win Volskaya. The nightmare here for Tempo would be them getting rolled over on point A, and then somehow FNRGFE able to get a quick ult up and use it to take point B in a 1-2 slamming of a minute 30. So that's a scenario that Tempo needs to avoid. If Tempo can, even if they lose point A, if they have a decent defense on point B and avoid giving up a tick, they still have very decent odds of coming back into this and winning the map.
All the pressure is on FNRGFE right now to be able to have a successful first attack. Perhaps they learned from their first one, but a minute, man, that could sometimes, depending on how long the fight goes, that could be one push.
All right, so FNRGFE making their way forward, Clockwork working the right side. On with the rest of his team, they go up that alleyway. They're not too contested here. It's a token aggression coming in here from the defense, but I think the defense is really hoping that FNRGFE runs into them. Boink, though, under pressure into the back. Clockwork able to save him. They punish Dreamcasper for that dive, and it's a bit of a brawl here in the beginning as Clockwork is coming alive. Where has this play been all day for Clockwork? 2 quick kills coming in from him, and suddenly they thought they were trapping FNRGFE, but they are trapped in turn. This should be FNRGFE's point, and this is what they did not want going into this. If you're Tempo, you want to avoid the decisive fight. Hex, that was decisive.
I think Clockwork just doesn't like King's Row. I mean, maybe he doesn't like the food in London. Actually, I'm pretty certain he doesn't. I think he's said as much before. But King's Row has been his bane. They have 30 seconds to get any sort of progress here. Clockwork will have a pulse bump, going to continue. Buds got so low, but they heal him up. They're going to have a ton of ults coming online if they could just stay alive and sustain. Cozy is going to try to end this fight right now. EMP.
The EMP comes out, and the timing here could be pretty brutal for FNRGFE. Remember, they don't have the time to reset and go in for another attack. This is still very good for Tempo if they avoid a tick, and it does look like that is where this is going. Clockwork, I mean, don't tell him that. He's still moving in and about, but for as good as he has been, to bring this back would be absolutely monstrous, because the rest of his team is back in spawn right now. He's gonna have to delay for a while, and unfortunately for Clockwork, not able to do just that. That would have been nearly unprecedented if he was able to do so. So, no ticks coming out here for FNRGFE on point B, and this means that the outlook is rather rosy here for Tempo, where they have really good odds of being able to get at least 1 tick on second, but the idea that they would get full held with 3 minutes remaining, not super likely, especially given what we saw of the early defense.
You wouldn't imagine, especially with Casper on his McCree, which has been so good, but it is something to note that now they've seen where they want to come to. They've seen their rotations. It's not going to surprise them that they want to rotate through house to right side and just brawl up there. They could switch it up and rotate left side and then do that kind of awkward Mexican standoff where they both have high ground and are just poking away at each other. I don't know, 255, you'd have to assume at least first point, and then if they get a tick, then they will take Volskaya and will go to another map.
I have to ask you, Hex, and this is a theoretical question that we don't really see teams try anymore, is that would you like to see teams gamble more on running defensive heroes that are high risk, high reward? Like, we haven't seen a Symmetra, for example, in ages. But there is something to be said with a Symmetra or a Mercy, something like that, that gives you more chances of a first point hold. Like, something that generally is weaker for actually holding over time, but if it works, you might get the first point hold.
Do you want me to answer with my heart or my head?
I mean, I'll take either.
Because my heart wants to see Symmetra all the time, and I wish she was back in the game just at least a little bit.
Really?
But
I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far. I'm just proposing the theory. I
well,
have
no, Sim on Assault First I think is really good, and you can run her at certain levels of ranked play. Not in pro play, though. It's just very difficult to make her viable and work. I think you could run a Mercy on certain maps if that first point, like, defensively on Anubis, I think would be a better choice here, but Volskaya might be a little too open.
Well, this first fight is underway, and you have Tempo working the outskirts, the same path that we just saw FNRGFE take, and with Clockwork dying the 2 easy, this puts FNRGFE at a big disadvantage. But they're able to dive back, isolate out Beast Halo, and now Bud's plenty of room to secure this fight, so despite 2 easy getting that early pickoff, it's not going to amount to much here early on.
Yeah, the only person to fall in that was actually Bud's, and they have EMP up too, and Bud should be able to get back. He's got Sprint going. No, actually, I think Cool Matt fell, but either way, they have mobility options to come back in here, and they will be at full force for the next fight. And you look at all the time they've burned off. That's already going to be a minute and plus over. Packs are going to be hacked everywhere on main and Mega. Banny's going to have EMP. The first point hold Dream not dead yet.
It's very much alive. If Banny can get a good EMP here, suddenly FNRGFE really does have the option. Matt getting back into his mech, and Banny right now surveying the territory, looking for who the best EMP target is going to be, and he drops it right there, hits 2 people. It's not the craziest of EMPs, but it does cause 2 easy to fall immediately. We'll see if it's enough. It was sort of a one-man EMP, but it's high noon. Dream Casper finds Cool Matt in over the top. By the way, there's a cowboy in this game.
Well, they were still on this dream of the first point hold as they sound barrier to double down, but with Buds and Banny going down, the anti-heal yet again onto the point. As at this point will be captured, they will get an additional 30 seconds to try to push forward. Maybe they can barrier in. I mean, that's the swing back of Boink using his barrier to try to defend first, is that Ludi's going to have his, and they can try to potentially get some work done. Again, only need 33%.
Their best opportunity is here on this first push, and realistically speaking, we are very much in draw territory here. Tempo is not working with an overwhelming edge. Their best opportunity will be as if Dream Casper can get an early pickoff and just snowball that in the way that McCree can really uniquely do. So Soundbear is going to come in here. Here comes Tempo on what will be their best attempt, but the EMP comes out, ruins a lot of it immediately, gets rid of the sound barriers that were on them. That's something that EMP does, and Tempo getting forced back.
At least it was quick. That was the good thing for them. They can push in yet again. 2 easy goes on 76. Casper will near Deadeye. But you're right, the EMP to strip away the shields was brutal. They had to kind of expect it, but they should know that now they have maybe a small window. I mean, who knows on Volskaya, but one more push, 33%, or we will draw Skaya here.
Matt right now might be in the position to break some windows. This is where you're under time pressure, you have to get in the point. You know what can really ruin your day there? A Diva self-destruct. So Matt is one to watch here. He knows they have to go into a point. They're flooding right in. If he drops a self-destruct now, this could be very bad indeed for Tempo.
Yeah, especially with the Winston shield already down. Deadeye will come up for Casper looking for targets. The Diva Matrix is up, now down. Everyone hides for cover. Casper does not get much out of that. He's zoning alt, and I don't mean that sarcastically. They've gotten a lot of progress. Banny goes down. Ludi falls very back and forth, but they're halfway to where they need to be. They're
getting close, and here comes Tig. Tig with the Dragon Blade. This could be game winning. So looking close to clear off the point. Looking for Clockwork. He gets him. That's a big member of Delay out. Boy, got it. Cut down in his prime, and Tempo Storm, with time running out, has defeated FNRGFE here on Volskaya, and we are going to be going to a third and final map number 3.
Loser goes home in this one, and it has been close between these two teams. I'm actually going to be legitimately sad, no matter who loses. Like, I feel they both deserve to move on in this tournament, but we have a stacked field. Someone has to go home. I wonder if this is the last point Tig, but he played well on Genji all map.
Well, ask and ye shall receive. This is on the last point. Slices down Muma before he can get to a pack, and grabs Clockwork right towards the end.
Map pick will be FNRGFE, so that's what they get for losing that map anyway. Tig, wow. I mean, the cards, he has 58% kill participation. That's insanity. So, FNRGFE, where would they want to go? I mean, they looked good on Li Zhang earlier, for sure.
I don't know if Li Zhang is where you want to bring Tempo right now. I mean, I guess it depends. That I still think FNRGFE has the better tank play of the two teams for sure, but their skirmishing DPS was not in top form. Clockwork did have signs of life there towards the end of Volskaya, and Buds looked good on King's Row, but I don't know if you're FNRGFE if you really want to brave a control point map right now. I think I would guess that they would still be better off sticking to Hybrid or Escort.
I would
based on
tend to
what they've
agree.
done here so
Now
far.
that I look up the numbers on Control, they're decent at Oasis and Nepal. Neither of those are in the pool. Lijiang 1 and 3, Ilios 0 and 1. So a combined 1 and 4 on the maps that are in the pool in the last several months. And Tempo Storm is, I mean, not world killers on it either, but you might be right. So in the pool,
So the map
remaining,
pool of remaining maps,
yeah,
just to give people a heads up, it is Ilios, Lijiang, Anubis 66, and our admin is saying Dorito, and while that is delicious and very much associated with gamer culture, it is in fact Dorado. So
you think Anubis
going
here?
in here, I would actually say, based on what we've seen here so far, I would say 66 if FNRGFE wants to go with their comfort zone from contenders, Dorado if they want to go to something that could be good for them with sight lines for a 76, but something they haven't played as much recently. And actually, wow, we are going off to Ilios, so they do want to run the control point gambit.
All right. Perhaps it's a counter pick, because who would be the pharmacy here for Tempo Storm? Nothing really stands out.
Dream. It would be Dream.
Yeah, but when you think of Tempo Storm, do you think of pharmacy? Is the question.
No, but when you think of Tempo Storm, do you think of much of anything? Because frankly, they haven't been getting deep in the tournaments recently. How much Tempo Storm have you seen on stream recently, Hex? So
fair enough. Fair
sorry
point.
to fire shots, but it is absolutely true. I mean, we haven't seen it, so it's hard to think of them for much of anything, but they have been looking good here today, so I wouldn't really be surprised if Dream was able to pull out a good pharmacy here.
No, nothing Dream would do would surprise me at this point. It's just, you're right, Tempo Storm does have a bit of an identity issue, and it's just working around Dreams, I guess. I think I might have just
Dream has been great, and you know, we talk about agilities going through the Overwatch RPG, building up his ability on different heroes over time. Well, so is Dream, and Dream's been really good at it. Although, this is interesting in terms of swapping it up. Tig is their other projectile DPS, and looks like they might be going the other way around with throwing Tig on it.
Yeah, it does seem that way. I mean, hey, Tig has been no slouch today. He just got play of the match, as Genji may have very well won them the last point of Volskaya. And putting Dream onto the D.Va is an interesting call, but I guess Too Easy doesn't really play the D.Va either. Huh. Alright, well, I mean, I'm willing to see how it works, but I think what the point I'm going back to was that I bet you that was their thinking going in, is that we have a better and more comfortable pharmacy than perhaps Tempo Storm does, so why not go to Ilios? Maybe.
I can definitely see that reasoning. They're also very comfortable busting out a Widowmaker, of course, for Ruins, which did work out in their favor. So, I mean, it's not the worst choice for FNRGFE. I think it's a little bit sketchy based on some of their DPS performance so far today, but we'll see if they're able to bring it through. It is later in the day. People have woken up.
Alright, we'll see how the air battle goes. I guess take a look at Buds, who's been playing a moderately good and consistent fair. Hits one, Tig in trouble, has lost his support, will get back hooked up with his Mercy, so that was a very close call there, but able to escape unscathed.
Well, the Pharaohs trading off early hits on each other, both still alive, and again, the rocket trade-off's happening. Tig almost going down, he's so low! And finally, it's Muma! A little bit of lightning from the ground, that's gonna fish him off, but this is from FNRGFE. They gave up control of the point early on, so Tempo will not go away empty-handed, even though it does look like they are about, in fact, to go away. FNRGFE, dominant presence right now on the point.
Should have the cleanup, and they're going to trade lives for percentage points on the point, but a full team kill, as FNRGFE has done a lot of work. The downside of trading that life for percentages, of course, it also gives ult percentage, and you see most of the members of FNRGFE nearing their ultimate ability.
So, FNRGFE certainly starting out here on a good tilt this time around, able to get the better of the Pharah v Pharah, and also get the better of the ground war. Still going to be even on progress because of the early cap. Too easy. Moving in. Lands a stick. Does not get the pick off here just yet. Muma able to get away from the pressure, but not for long. Too easy finishes his plate, takes him down, and now it's up to Buds to carry some of the load.
He does eat a rocket from his flank, did not even see it coming, eats a second one as Tig is able to take down Buds. Sound barriers out from both sides as the point continues to brawl out. The resurrection came, but Buds not in on it. Still though, the point control in favor of FNRGFE as Matt refuses to die, refuses to let bullets hit anybody either.
Matt's pretty good at that. in terms of not only diving on people, but holding back and being a very good defensive diva. So space has been created here from FNRGFE despite what was a promising opening from Tempo Storm. I think one key part here is that they're going to have to isolate Bandy a little bit better than they are right now. You cannot leave a Mercy unchecked, and you certainly can't let the Mercy get key game or fight winning resurrections like that.
No, not at all. And the good thing is Kosi will have a resurrection, and FNRGFE had to burn theirs out early on. A Pulse Bomb will come in and find nothing. Barrage from about a mile away from Tig doesn't get any kills.
I mean, it gets rocketed to the face. Not sure that quite counts, but
Yeah.
it is something for his effort. So Buds continuing his suppression here of Tig. Finally going to fall here the too easy, but it's kind of too little too late there for Tempo. They still have to wait for respawns coming in, so Buds is going to be able to get back out there, so that Pulse Bomb doesn't do too much here. I mean, maybe it stops Buds from a little bit of intro rockets. That's about it.
Well, they will get on the point before 99% expires for their team. Clockwork on the ground takes out a big source of that ground war healing as Ludi out of the fight, lives with his life, able to rewind here. It's going to be a tale of resurrections. It generally is. They have to solo res Ludi, though, thanks to that early Clockwork pick.
Meanwhile, Buds and Tig fighting off the coast of the map right now. Neither rocket hitting. It is the Pharah baiting dance where no damage actually happens, but there it is. Finally, Tig takes one right to the gut. Banny gonna res the fallen here for FNRGFE, and Buds dropping the barrage into the defensive matrix, but doesn't quite matter as FNRGFE, huge number advantage on the point, 99-20. They almost have this one wrapped up.
It was the best of reses, it was the worst of reses, and having to solo res Lucio was brutal there. That early pick made all the difference in the world. Later in the fight, the trades had happened, and then able to bring his team up to full strength. Just, really just a tale of early pickoffs and mercies right there, and FNRGFE will take the early lead as we go on to Ruin stage, which means Buds is going to look for those highlight reel plays again.
You know what I'd love to see here? And, okay, it's going to be too easy on the Widow. I was going to say, Dreamcasper can also play the Widow here, but I'm totally okay with too easy being on it. He is one of our original Widow makers that we ever casted in Overwatch, so I'm actually feeling really nostalgic here. Too easy, please, make my dreams come true.
Those too easy Linkser battles on Hollywood 2nd were the epic Widow battles of our time. Buds and Banny coming out though, this is their strat on Ruins and just having complete pack control, but let's watch the Widow battle.
I just want to watch Too Easy here. Too Easy versus Buds, Widow on Widow action. Which purple smug lady will be supreme here? As Too Easy. Looking for it. I'm not triggering chat at all, Hex.
What have you just done to my chat experience? Actually, chat experience.
I have ruined your chat experience is what I'm doing. But right now, both Widows going on and Too Easy connects, taking down Buds. It is like 2016 all over again here, Hex.
Wow, he almost actually gets the Sombra there, able to translocate before that headshot comes through. Despite that early kill, though, the point control is taken by FNRGFE as they were just able to do a little more on the ground away from the Widow battle.
You know, this is where I'm conflicted. My heart says that Tempo won that, even though my mind says they lost the ground war really hard. But Too Easy got a pick off. Isn't that what really matters?
I guess for a filthy Widow main like yourself. And Too Easy going, Banny taking down Cozy early, and now it gets really tough, because Banny's going to have the EMP, and one thing that a Widow won't give you is point presence, and bodies on the point to be able to contest this. And though Too Easy got that early shot, it's been rather quiet from him since. Meanwhile, Banny's able to take down Tig. And
he hasn't been getting opportunities here. I mean, I can't even blame him as much for this as much as it is FNRGFE is not giving him the sight lines they need, and Buds is being evasive in terms of not giving Too Easy shots while also getting shots on the Tempo front line. So at some point, Tempo probably is going to have to swap this, even though Too Easy says he's doing fine, or at least that's what I assume he would be saying in the situation. It's been rough contribution as the Widow sight is popped, and Tempo Storm moving in, far more aggressive this time, but they run right into the EMP, and that is going to ruin their day.
They don't really get picked off after running into the EMP, though. They lost Beast Halo, but that's about it. Too Easy under a little bit of pressure. This is the second phase of the Widow v Widow War, when both have used ultimates. Now Bud's going to have a small advantage as he popped it later. Too Easy jumped on by Muma, and it is probably time to switch, but he can be stubborn. We'll see. It's not really his fault.
I feel like the way that Too Easy might be internalizing this is that he's not losing the Buds, which is true. And you know what, I'm not even going to go down this road.
Yeah.
I'll just say that so far, it hasn't worked out, and they might want to consider swapping at 90%.
It's not generally just a player's fault. It's compositional wise as Muma gets back and punishes Too Easy before he can even be effective at all. Now at 97%, they have to go in 5v6, and they will be pushing into an EMP at some point as Banny charging it up.
Beast Halo leading the way. We are in overtime here as Tempo Storm makes it work. Dreamcasper to the back, takes down Buds with one swift strike, moving back in, but is going to get boinked by Boink. In the corner, Tinnitus on the way, and Tig, last moment self-destruct coming in, not able to get much of anything, just desperately trying to delay as Clockwork, laying out the welcome mat for all members of Tempo Storm right now.
Too Easy, the only one still alive, might have to jump on this point, doesn't even get there in time, wouldn't have mattered. A Widow on the point means nothing to 4 people waiting her. And despite having the early pick there, it just ended up not working. A full team victory for the side of FNRGFE, as I think the Sombra is so good on that map because that pack location is so vital to the team's success. Right now, FNRGFE one stage away from moving on in the lower bracket and knocking Tempo Storm out of the Beat Invitational.
This would be a little bit tough for Tempo, where I still feel like on some level it was a good day. They definitely were shocking Rogue earlier, but as you mentioned, they are 1 round away from elimination, so how quickly fortunes may change. And Buds, come on, get off the Widow. I don't believe that you're doing Widow again here.
I want to see it. It could be a good map for
Is
it.
he doing it?
Nah. You can get a Widow up on like Lighthouse, and she can be hard to deal with sometime. But not when the other
I said
team...
I didn't believe him, but my heart wanted to believe. But still, he's coming in on the Pharah and already laying down the poke to the back line, forcing Tig to stay back with the 76 here for now. But it's also preventing Tempo from deep diving into FNRGFE if they're holding back and trying to stop the rockets from damaging their back line.
Just getting a lot of free poke damage in, forcing Tig to pay a lot of attention to him means that the ground war positioning battle at the very least will be in favor, but Too Easy, a nice track there, takes down Banny.
Banny's gonna fall here, and FNRGFE forced back, and it's actually a miracle they've gotten out of this as much as they have. They were all incredibly low here in this fight, and Tempo Storm not quite able to finish their plate. Bud's getting back into it, but the bleeding here does need to be staunched. FNRGFE certainly should back out here and reset. I mean, they already lost control of the point, so why not go in for a good push?
Yeah, Clockwork and Cool Mat dilate, so they have to just wait a little bit. The combo can come up and do a little bit of damage. Have to play a little bit more defensive, knowing that Too Easy's on the 76, has done a lot of work. Casper's just waiting for the call that some damage has gone in so that he can slash through this guy. Combo playing a little further back. Too Easy's got Tactical Visor.
Too Easy does have Visor at the ready right now. Tempo looking for just holding right now. They can pull this back and rope it up in time. Clockwork getting the pulse bomb makes it complicated. Forces Too Easy now to go out with a Visor and not really getting too many targets in his sights, but does find Boink towards the end and what could have been a rough Visor. But Boink getting res back up. Buds with full control of the sky, and Too Easy, look out for the weather report because here comes a barrage going right into the building. Down goes Too Easy, and FNRGFE well on their way to retaking.
It's really smart to bring Point back alive there. One, because Lucio can be offensive and point controlling here because of the pit and his ability to move people around into said pit. But also that sound barrier right there should keep people alive, but unfortunately Banny finds himself at the wrong end of a self-destruct.
And this is still really good from Tempo. They're getting it back in terms of delay, and finally FNRGFE is able to take the point, but it comes at a cost, and it comes with a lot of time invested. 67% here for Tempo. They only need maybe 2 good fights to put this round away and climb their way back into this map.
The next big ults to probably watch for, Banny will have Resurrection. I mean, that is also one of the things of not running a combo here, is that generally this team is going to get second lives here. Dream Casper has his eyes on anti-combo duty, but Banny falls to Too Easy. Both supports now out of the fight. You'd have to imagine that just maybe some stall comes in, but stall does come in. Still, though.
Stall comes in, but FNRGFE almost certainly about to give this one out. Clockwork was going for a last moment stall. Not going to be too effective in the end, and this is good for Tempo. Tempo now needs, again, maybe 1 major fight. And FNRGFE isn't coming in with a whole lot here. It's going to be more Mercy-centric, where how is Banny going to use the Resurrection? Is it going to be used on Buds after a barrage gets him killed? Well, the answer to that is probably yes, the way that this has been going here so far. But if that barrage kills 2 or 3 people, it's still very much worthwhile. So Buds right now hanging out near the top. The rest of FNRGFE with the tanks diving in from the opposite side. It's a multi-flank approach, and Buds just waiting to drop the barrage.
waiting for that Transcend to fade, and then going to try to find an angle, but there is also the Winston shield down there. Now the Sound Barrier comes in, is going to make him hold on even longer. Boink out of this fight is now does not get resurrected, has to respawn instead, but somehow during that, FNRGFE took the point back.
Yeah, they did get the point even as you had pressure coming in from Tempo Storm. So Tempo, one fight away from maintaining the ability to fight to stay alive here in the Beat Invitational, but if they do not get that fight in the next two, it will be going the way of FNRGFE and Tempo will be going home.
They haven't had to use a lot of ults in that last fight either, so that's the good thing for them, and they're spending so much attention trying to deal with the combo. Generally, you spend the Genji, the Soldier, and maybe even the Winston going in there to try to deal with it, and that's where the ground forces have cleaned up. Self-destruct comes towards the combo. Ooh. Can they get out of it? They do. Meanwhile, Clockwork on the ground takes out two.
Clockwork's showing this is how you explode a backline. Up close and personal is the Clockwork treatment, and it puts FNRGFE on match point here. If they get one more fight, that's going to be it. They stay alive, and Tempo will be done. And for Tempo right now, Hex, does this come down to Beast Halo and Dreamcasper for this next fight?
It does, and Beast Halo has to buy enough time for Dreamcasper to get his blade, then you have to hope that Dreamcasper can kill Banny, because any of his damage will be undone. Buds takes out too easy before this fight even starts. Here comes the barrage, but Beast Halo will Primal Rage out of it, and there's the blade. It needs to find Pater.
Blade comes out here from Dream, but it is not a dreamy blade for sure. He's not able to get on targets he wants at all. We are in overtime, and FNRGFE is slowly choking Tempo Storm out. Tempo must find a way through here. Dream still alive, 100 HP on the point, reinforcements coming in, but Beast Halo's down, Tig is demeched, and that is not going to be enough for Tempo. FNRGFE holds them off and will stay alive here in the Beat Overwatch Invitational.
That last fight wasn't even really that close. Banny was able to hold Resurrection the entire time, didn't even need it, they didn't get any kills. And one of the players who has really been a key part of this FNRGFE team, Muma, maybe Winston's don't get some of the credit they deserve, but he's been opening up space for his team all day. And you're right, that's Tempo Storm out of the tournament.
Well played to Tempo and overall in the course of the day, but falling short to FNRGFE when it matters most here on Ilios. I would still say in general today, it has been a surprising day of Overwatch in regards to teams upsetting us, disrupting expectations, and overall, I think even teams in